Welcome back. I'm so excited that you've decided to keep going with this. This has been such a fun project for me. And by fun, I mean, I'm learning so much. It's really exciting to see where all the pieces are fitting together and people I didn't know about and how they're related to each other. And I know it's just going to keep going. So if you've decided to watch this far, please continue to watch and we can learn together what the Lord did with these people and how they're all connected. Today's passage is probably the most scripture straightforward one that I've done so far. So I wanted to take a minute and before I even look at it, just remind you of how blessed we are to even have this text in the first place. I've known a lot of atheists who their approach to God is just so wishy-washy. And I don't know how you live your life thinking that you have all of the answers, because the longer I live, the less answers I have. And so for an atheist to believe that they can just figure God out or know what they know about him and that's all there is to know is so empty. And it misses out on so much of what the Lord has actually said about himself. So those people limit themselves to their own knowledge. And the Lord has said, here you go. This is me. I'm going to tell you exactly who I am and exactly what I've done. And all you have to do is seek it. And I wanted to approach the scripture with that mindset of just saying it's really easy to look at these genealogies and think that we can't get a whole lot of God's personality from it. But what I've learned is that he cares for the little things and the little people. And by little people, I mean people like myself who are just kind of a part of his plan. So he's orchestrating so many things in these genealogies, and it's encouraging to know that I have a God who bothered to record this and bothered to reveal himself to me and to everybody who wants to know. So all of that being said, I'm excited that you want to know. And I'm going to teach you everything I know and continue to learn as I go. So let's jump into the scripture today, which is the genealogy of Japheth. Where we are right now is beginning in Adam. We have covered just the basics of these people all the way down to Noah. Most people know Noah of Noah and the flood, and this is post-flood. If you've never read the text of Noah and the flood itself, I skipped over it because it's fairly common. Please read it. It's fantastic. And there's something to be said for actually reading the text as opposed to hearing about it, because a lot of people know the story, but when you read the text, again, with the genealogies, there's so much detail, and it's encouraging to see the way that God works and that he comes back around to giving his people a promise. He sees humanity and he's like, oh my gosh, these are all wicked people. And by the end of the passage, he's making a covenant with them to never destroy them again. Why? Because he's gracious. That's just who he is. So if you've never read it, go back, read it, and then catch up to where we are here. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to jump right into post-Noah, post-flood. So beginning in Genesis 9, verse 18, and the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. I'm going to stop right here for today. I had originally intended to do my first video on Ham and go through this passage and then jump into the genealogy of Ham and just give you a lot of information, which I will do next time. The reason I didn't do Ham today is because after you get past Genesis 9, in Genesis 10 and in Chronicles 1, it starts with Japheth. And Japheth is, of the three, the most minor. And so today we're just going to touch on Japheth's genealogy, lineage, genealogy. I combine the two words. We're going to touch on Japheth's genealogy and then go into Ham beginning in chapter 9 and then talk about Shem, who is the line of Christ. So for now, I'm talking about Noah and his three sons. The lineage of Japheth starts in Genesis 9, verses 18 through 27. The last two verses in this chapter are about Noah himself. But this is kind of the first mention of Japheth as far as the story goes. And then beginning in Genesis 10, lineage of Japheth is verses 1 through 5. And for the purposes of condensing scripture and studying as much of it as we possibly can, I have decided to parallel with Chronicles 1 because Chronicles 1 is literally just the names, as I've said before. There's not a whole lot of teaching you can do on literally just a name. I mean, names do mean something, don't get me wrong, but when we're studying scripture like this, I definitely want to condense it so that you can kind of see where the names are later as opposed to taking time to study it. So we're going to be in Genesis 10 and First Chronicles 1, 4 through 7. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were born sons after the flood. So Japheth, and this is post-flood. And the sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. This one does something a little bit different than the other text in that we go into the sons of the sons. So beginning in verse 3, the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Riphath, Garma, sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. So there's the lineage of Japheth in Genesis 10. First Chronicles, sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus, sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah, and the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodarim. And that's where First Chronicles ends, but Genesis 10 ends with, and by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue and after their families in their nations. This verse I did not realize was controversial until I started to look into it, but there's some question as to how you can say they're divided by their land if the Tower of Babel hasn't happened and everybody has the same tongue at this point. What I found, and I'll put the link to the article itself, is that this timing is parallel to the Tower of Babel and that the Tower of Babel has already happened at this point. So there's an article that talks about the timing of it. It's sometimes seen as a contradiction, but I think the whole purpose of this is at this time, Noah gets off the boat and there's 3 sons and they're all divided. And you're going to see with Ham that they're divided by people groups. And it's really kind of fascinating to see where these people groups start, because if you're anything like me, when you study the Bible, you just know that the Philistines are bad. That's great. I know the Philistines from David and Goliath. Where did they come from? Why are they bad? Why are they opposed to God's people? And just a little bit of a spoiler alert, something to look forward to. We are going to figure that out in next week's lesson. So stay tuned and we'll study Ham next time. Bye.